If you would have told me a year ago that one day the NASDAQ will sell off, but Apple is going to have basically its highest day it had in a long time, I wouldn't believe you. But that's exactly what happened in here today. Everybody kind of rolled out of memory into Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, just kind of the old school Mag 7 almost, right? Nvidia was a nice little V-shaped recovery in here as well. So everybody just kind of rolled out of those new chip memory stocks into these old school staples, and it worked out for the day for us in here. That's how you had that big sharp drop in your SPUs and especially your NASDAQ, and yet you had a nice overall kind of green and a hold for these major stocks. Apple in here on the week. What are we looking at in here to the upside? Since we are broke out in here on this weekly chart, nice whole numbers to the upside, right? So 330, 335, 340, etc. Just seeing what the chart is going to dictate. On the downside in here, what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at the kind of where we opened up on the week right here. This previous resistance for us, this upper trend line of this overall structure right around that 316. Anything below there, we're looking at the 311 and then that 303 area, which is going to be where that 9-day EMA is. And that's going to hold a lot of weight for us as far as a nice floor. Now, as far as our RSI goes, we're creeping up in here back into overbought territory. We're sitting at 67 right now. So we're going to see if this volume does come along with us in here for the week. We got about a couple more trading sessions in here. So we should be back up kind of in this kind of average volume area, but we'll see if we do get a little push in here either way. It all kind of depends on what happens tomorrow. I know tomorrow is kind of like a make or break day for us in here because we have to see if this rotation is going to continue or if these the stocks in here that were kind of saving the day for us, if they start to pull back and everybody starts to take profits tomorrow, watch out because then I don't know where everybody's going to start rolling into. But also we got some big earnings coming up tomorrow as well. So United Health, Netflix, things like that. That might kind of prop up some things here and there as well. I know GE also has some earnings coming up after hours. So there's all going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow because that's going to kind of dictate things for the rest of the month, I believe. Speaking of memory, we're going to look at IREN in here. We did have a big pullback in Micron and SanDisk today, AMD as well. NVIDIA pullback in here, but a nice little recovery that was kind of following the S&P. Obviously, that's going to happen when it's the world's largest company, right? IREN in here, we're sitting right above that $38 level, 38.28, kind of on this upper trend line. So you had a breakout in Apple and then IREN basically the exact opposite in here to the downside, almost breaking out in here on this weekly chart, kind of hanging on. We're going to see if we do respect this trend line going forward for the next two trading sessions. If not, then to the downside 34, and then that $30 range is going to be what we're looking at. To the upside in here, that 50-day SMA sitting at that $45 area. That is going to be a spot that we are going to watch because that's where our 9-day EMA is basically sitting on right too, right? So that 45 and that 46, you got about a dollar channel right now, but that separation is either going to expand away or we're going to get a crossover in there of those two moving averages. So that whole area, 45 to 46, is going to be a major spot of resistance for us if we do get back up to that level. Anything outside of that, we are going to be looking at that $52 range. So all in all, crazy day in here today. We're going to see what happens again if people start selling off what the safe havens were today. Watch out because I don't know if we're going to get a nice recovery and rotation back into those memory stocks or not, just because they're so overhyped. If everybody already rolled out of them once into Apple, Apple, Amazon, and things like that, if they start rolling out of these kind of like staple Mag 7s, I don't know where they're going to go. They might just go back into consumers and different sectors like that. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's kind of a make or break in here because we could just end up having a blow off top in here in the SPYs and just kind of hit all-time highs in here soon, or we could just pull back tremendously just to kind of reset everything across the board. The NASDAQ is what's kind of worrying everybody right now. That is the thing. We're seeing the SPUs kind of getting up there. We're almost at all-time highs yet again. The NASDAQ is more volatile. It's not really following. It's kind of doing its own thing. So we kind of have to be aware of that. If we do get a pullback in the SPYs, that your NASDAQ is going to be even more harsher. And if we do get a run up, we have to see if the NASDAQ is going to go with us. If the NASDAQ starts to lag a little bit, then we need to be leery of the overall run and vice versa. So kind of keep all that in mind as we're going through tomorrow. Again, crazy day in here. Let's see what happens as we continue throughout the rest of the week. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.